And we are live.
Thank you.
All righty,
Madam Chairperson.
let's move to the roll call. Open the meeting.
Crouch.
Present from East Lansing.
Quinn.
Present, also in East Lansing.
Yonkis. He's not here. And Frank Heffer.
Present from Langsburg.
Perfect. I'd also like to acknowledge that Mr. Hackney is on the line from Retro Duck. He's going to join us today. And then I myself, as staff member, am Amy Schleschler, and I am from East Lansing. And Gabby, do you want to share?
Yep, Gabby Vizzacaro, and I'm tuned in from East Lansing as well.
And Luke, do you want to share just where you're logging in from?
You're muted.
Luke Hackney, East Lansing, Ingham County. Hi, Chanel.
Hi. All righty. We all set to let everybody on the roll call? Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Move to 1.2 approval of the agenda.
And I have no changes to the agenda.
Perfect. I will move to approve the agenda.
I will second.
And I will do a roll call vote. So for those of you that might be new to this, you just indicate by saying aye if you agree or nay if you're opposed. So this is just approval of the agenda. Crouch.
Yes.
Quinn.
Yes.
Frank Hepfer.
Aye.
Perfect. Okay, the motion passes.
Perfect. And then the consideration to limit public comment to 2 minutes.
Yes. So, sorry, my screen isn't cooperating with me all of a sudden. This is just the recommendation of the city attorney's office. As we're all aware, we've all been pretty patient. We've been doing these Zoom meetings now, I think, for about 10 months. It is the recommendation of the city attorney's office that we try to limit public comments to 2 minutes per individual, in case anybody would like to present before the committee. And so you can discuss whether or not you would like to have that approved.
I will just motion to approve it.
I will second that.
All right. And I will do a roll call vote. Crouch.
Yes.
Quinn.
Yes.
Frank Hepfer.
Aye.
Perfect.
Okay. Before we open public comment, read the rules. First of all, is there anybody on the line?
Let me look to see. You actually do not have anyone on the line, so you can formally open it up if you'd like and then close it.
I'll open it up. And I think close it.
Okay. Last time we had people, so you never know. Okay, well then I think we can move right into 3.1, the financial reports. So I did just want to follow up to some conversations we've had at both the board level earlier this month and then at the marketing committee level. I usually start with page 2, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as I normally do. So for the month of January so far, you have paid for work order salaries and benefits. Again, those primarily support our 2 guru interns, Gabby and Marissa, who are great, in addition to a portion of my salary. We did pay for the January call loop, which is that text messaging service that we have so that we can send out messaging to people that are enrolled in it. We did formally issue the check for Bronner's. As you might recall, we expanded our holiday decorations to be up and down Abbott Road and a portion of Ann Street Plaza and then Albert Avenue. So we expanded those. So we made the issuance of payment for those. I thought that those looked really nice. And then we did some social media advertising for the Gifty gift card program. The other thing that you had approved at the board meeting, but we have not physically issued a check yet to, was the donation to the Daytime, Nighttime, Anytime Place project. And Adam is actually here today, and he's just going to kind of give us a quick overview of a lot of different projects. But so that is still pending, but that is reflected in your financial sheet. So as a quick reminder, this is essentially where we are to date. If we did not do anything to support revenue, no fundraising campaigns, nothing of that nature, you have a little more than $6,000 left that you can expend through the end of the fiscal year. If obviously, we're going to actually even talk about it today, we decide to do some sort of fundraising element or things of that nature, then there's more money that we could expend. But as it is right now, through June 30th, you have a little more than $6,000 remaining, so that you would essentially balance your budget and everything would come in. As a reminder, initially we usually planned on some sponsorships for events, and we're just not quite sure if we can plan on events right now during COVID, but there might be some other, creative things that we can do. So does anybody have any questions for me? I'm happy to answer any questions about the financial report. But I think the big thing right now to remember is you have a little more than $6,000 through June 30th. And if not, we can move on.
I think I'm all set.
Okay. All right.
Adam, staff updates.
That's me. Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to come to this meeting and say thank you for the DMB for their generous donation of $5,000, and then answer any questions you may have about the place project and provide you a status update where we're at. So we continue to install furniture throughout downtown. We've got quite a bit of seating installed at Division Street. We added more to 500 Block Alley yesterday, more to the Elevated Plaza. We've got lighting being installed right now at the MAC parking garage. And Amy will talk about the many programs that she's been implementing on her end. But we also have this downtown web app I know you guys have heard a lot about, and I just want to provide you with some background on that and what our intention is for that web app. So in an effort to further promote and market downtown and downtown businesses, as part of the place project, we're going to be installing QR code signage throughout downtown, and we're still working on exactly which QR codes are going to link to which sites, but we're able to do some pretty cool stuff with some of the software we have. And I just bring that up to say, we can embed videos, pictures, any kind of story narrative that we want into this software. I'm thinking, it'd be great to be able to start doing that about the local businesses. And so that people are downtown and they're in the vicinity of, say they're in a 100 block, they can scan a QR code on their mobile device and instantly have access to whatever story we want to tell about the 100 block and those businesses. So just keep that in mind. We could really use some assistance with, developing those stories and figuring out, very formulated strategy to implement with that. And I'm sure Amy will update you later on. We're working with MSU again with their integrated campaigns senior capstone course, where they have 3 deliverables. The first one will be a creative mass challenge using video and social media. The second one is wide open. They'll have to develop their own kind of idea for some kind of competition that engages downtown and downtown businesses, like the TikTok competition. And the third project is their semester-long project, where they'll be really proposing different strategies for basically an image campaign, branding of downtown, helping define what does downtown mean to people and trying to communicate that to people to grab their attention. I did encourage them to participate in some of these meetings, so they may or may not be hopping on. So keep that in mind and vocalize, some of your guys' needs and wants when it comes to that, because I'm sure they're going to listen. And with that, do you guys have any specific questions I can answer about the place project at this point?
I have a real quick question, Adam. The QR codes,
Yeah.
are those going to be on their own signs, or are those going to be added to signs, or how are those going to go out?
Yeah, so we found these little placards that pretty inexpensive that we can write any message we want on them and then literally put the QR code on them, and we can switch them in and out pretty easily and cost effectively. So again, we can link it to the downtown, directly to the downtown web app, or to a specific story that we want to tell someone in a specific location. We're also allowing almost done with functionality. Part of this, there'll be QR codes that will allow visitors to scan it and then upload their pictures so that we can add it to these maps, these story maps downtown. So for example, you may have heard about the Where's Zeke This Week program that we'll be implementing. Zeke the Wonder Dog, we're going to get cardboard cutouts, place them at different locations, at the Place Project locations, but also inside some participating businesses. And there'll be a QR code that people can literally just scan, upload their picture, and then we'll be able to display that picture to the city on what's called a story map. Just trying to promote and provide more visibility for a lot of the stuff we're doing is all. So yeah, I think I answered your question kind of in a long.
Yeah, but are they going to be placed like in the parking garages? Are they going to be on business fronts? Are they going to be individual signage?
We can place them wherever we think would be most beneficial. Right now, we're going to be placing them on like picnic tables that we've installed downtown. There'll be QR code. The whiskey barrels, there'll be a QR code. Any kind of signage, yeah, parking garages, you name it.
Sweet, cool.
Yeah. Are there any other questions?
Adam, can you just clarify, I know this question came up at the last board meeting. So I know that we're getting close to our $50,000 mark for the match with MEDC, but let's pretend, which we don't want to have happen. So I'm confident we get to 50, but what happens if we get $45,000? We would just do.
We keep $45,000 and
problem.
we do not get the dollar for dollar match from MEDC.
But we just take all that money and we do awesome programming with what we raise. I just want
well, in the proposal doc, it says, there's 4 phases.
Right.
Essentially, we made it so phase 1, what we're doing right now, we already secured the $80,000 to implement from the DDA allocation of 75 and BWL of 5. To implement the entire project is $180,000, which includes the 75 from DDA and 5 from BWL. And so it's a 4-phase project. If we do not reach our crowdfunding campaign goal, then we have enough money to implement phase 1, but then we're going to have to come back to the table with stakeholders and say, this is our budget. We got to prioritize which activities we want to implement. And so phase 2 is like all the light installations. If we don't get the crowdfunding goal, then we're going to have to sit down and say, which locations do we want to prioritize? Because we won't be able to install the lights at every location. But we definitely will be very inclusive of DMB, the Arts Commission, the DDA, all the stakeholders who have helped make this happen.
Perfect. Thanks. I just wanted the group to kind of hear the same.
Do we have expected funding to come in from any other large organizations?
Yeah, that's a good question. I am working with 3 different stakeholders right now on large donations. And then the DDA voted yesterday. Should there be a gap come February 10th, that we could plug that gap with DDA funds up to $10,000, which I'm very hopeful we won't be anywhere near. So.
Yeah, just interject on that. I mean, without that $10,000, or assuming that it goes up to that $10,000, you're really only looking for about $5,000 at this point. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we've raised 35,000, almost 35.
I don't see that not happening.
Yeah, either do I, Luke. I really don't, but we never know. So we just wanted that plan B in case, but I feel pretty confident we're going to be really close by the mid next week.
I something that, if we don't have a lot of money, but if there was like a gap like, what do we do to make sure that, but sounds like that was already taken care of, so.
Yeah, I feel very confident we're taken care of. And so, yeah, at this point, I literally just want to come and answer any questions, provide y'all with updates, yeah, so I hope I'm not being overly confident on this one, but I feel like we're going to get there. We have the whole community behind us, excited about the Place project. So I'm very hopeful that it comes to fruition, all of it. The new web app, please take some time, check it out. We are still evolving it. Just released an update, I think last night. I'm not really sure. It's all blurring together at this point. But yeah, all ears. Give me recommendations. How can we improve it? What kind of content should we be adding? Think about the stories that we can tell about the businesses in downtown. And then I know Amy and her team have been working really hard to collect the data downtown. It comes with its own challenges. And we're in the process of creating what's called a geo form, where businesses will be able to essentially just complete a form that's like half a page and provide us with the data that we've been collecting, or correct the data that needs corrected that's in our database. So we will be looking forward to that and need assistance with reaching the businesses to help with that. We've been trying not to overwhelm people because we know how many requests people are getting for various things right now. But as always, don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for working so hard.
Hey, thank you guys. And again, reach out with any questions. We're here to help, and all ears on recommendations on how to help. So help the businesses. And that's all I've got.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
All righty. Move on to new business 5.1, the art festival.
All right, so Ms. Mahano is here joining us today. I don't know how many folks paid attention to press releases that went out, but yesterday the official announcement was made that the art festival is going to shift from a timeframe of mid-February to now August, beginning of August. And so Ms. Mahano is here to kind of chat with you about that. As you recall, at the beginning of January, there was an official letter sent to the DMB about a sponsorship request. And since then, we've received a supplemental letter specifically for the business relations to kind of talk about today about how we might be able to support the festival. So Heather, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you for having me today. Yeah, so usually our festival is in May. It's this year it was going to be May 22nd and 23rd. But after having conversations with leadership, we realized that it was not going to happen in a live in-person format if we continued with May. And because a virtual festival doesn't benefit our downtown businesses at all, and it really didn't benefit the artists too much when we went virtual last year, we're going to try something different and postpone it to August, which puts us at potentially and most likely 2 festivals in one fiscal year. So that's why Amy and I talked about what a good ask would be for sponsorship from the DMB. And that's why my request is $5,000. That would be for 2 festivals. That would be basically a commitment to sponsor the next 2 festivals. And then the breakdown for, in theory, I would put 25 per each festival, but if you had a different choice preference for that, then that can be arranged as well. But and then the other part of my ask today is that I really want to collaborate with you and with the rest of the DMB to help the downtown businesses, because we'll have many artists. We're thinking around 100, but we'll see where it lands when the people who aren't available in August are done canceling, and people who are suddenly now available for the festival apply. So usually we have around 180 artists downtown. This year we're expecting about 100, give or take a few. But I want to get those people that come downtown for the art to also come into our businesses. So I'm open to ideas. Amy and I have talked about a couple different ideas, but I really want to hear what you have to say on that too. So those are my 2 big asks, and I'd love to talk to you about them. See what you think.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is the reduction in vendors simply based upon demand from the vendors?
Yeah, so typically our artist application deadline is January 31st. And at this point last year, we had over 200 applicants. At this point, we have about 143. We've extended the deadline 2 weeks to February 15th to give people the opportunity to figure out the schedule change for themselves, and to send out a snail mail letter to those people who don't have emails and give them a chance to think it through. And so we're hoping that we get a few more applications. We have received about 12 requests for refunds at this point. So all in all, that's not a huge refund ask, and I'm kind of happy about that. But we still have some ground to make up if we want as many applicants as we've had in the past.
Can I ask a question, Heather, if you don't mind?
Mhm.
That might be a stupid question, but given that it's a push back 3 months, why is the extension only pushed 2 weeks on accepting applications? And is there just no hope that people will come back around the bend in, say, like March or April even? Or
Well,
is it?
So the application, we only extended it 2 weeks because we felt like if we extended it even longer, it might look like too much of a money grab, because potentially if the health department doesn't allow us to have a festival, then it goes virtual anyway. Then we're only refunding booth fees. We're not refunding the jury fee. So we didn't want to look greedy, but we wanted to give people a little bit more time. We did extend the confirmation and booth payment deadline 2 months. So usually that's April 6th, 6 weeks before the festival. So we extended that to June 8th, which is 6 weeks before the new festival date. So that part is extended a little bit, but yeah, the 2 weeks.
That's something though. I mean, that still gives people maybe the time, if they're undecided, to just sign up and then try to figure that out in the next 3 months as opposed to right away. So
yeah,
thank you.
Mhm.
And then, so you're saying we're going to go back to a May festival the following year, though?
That's what we're planning on. We really went back and forth about moving it to August, and we did a lot of research on other festivals, art fairs, fine art fairs, and local events to find the August 7th and 8th weekend as one that's available. Because no one ever changes their dates. There's like a set circuit the artists can set their time clocks by, and us changing ours kind of put a wrench in everybody else's calendars. So we don't really want to do that more than 1 year in a row. If it can be helped.
I'd have to imagine you're not alone in that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've as far as Michigan, it looks like I haven't seen any other postpones. I met with the Lansing Arts Council earlier this week, and there was a group of us festival event organizers chatting about what we're doing this year. And no one really has a plan except for the MSU Science Festival. And they're basically stretching theirs out over the course of a month and going a lot more virtual. So I haven't seen anybody changing dates yet, but it's still early, and our festival, so the MSU Science Festival is like the first festival in our area in the year, and ours is like the second or third. So it only makes sense that we're one of the first to make a decision.
And I just meant with art festivals in general. Like, I mean, I can see people moving it around.
Yeah, we'll see.
In terms of like the second part about driving business and that type of thing, I'm not like I don't know the geographical space like planning specifically, but have we ever in the past discussed, and this may be even more pertinent in the time frame now, but instead of the booths facing each other, backing up to one another in the middle, and then it could flow on the outside? Does that make like having down the center of the road, the booths backing each other instead of blocking the businesses?
Yeah, that's something that we definitely talked about for this, what was going to be the 2020 festival. We were trying to figure out a way to do something like that, because we have extra room now too. So we even talked about having
Like alternate.
yeah, like all the way just one row of artists just down the middle or just down one side. And we never had a chance to make a decision on that, but it's something that we can look into. The big thing would be that the curb is a natural straight line, so that the artist booths are in a straight line and somewhat organized. So it'd be a little bit harder to set it up, not impossible, just a little bit harder. And the space behind the booths, the artists use as kind of like their storage area during the day. So we'd have to have some kind of space between the artists in the middle if we did have two back to back, so that they could have a little bit of storage space. But it's definitely something we can think about.
Yeah, I mean, like, even if, just thinking about it, it may be extra supplies for them, but even if you organized it so it was like staggering one facing and like going like opposite facing, so it's not necessarily two backing up to each other, but so if that takes up too much width, if it staggers and they did like half and half and they put up like another tent behind them, like, or a half, you know what I'm saying? And that's how they could have storage. So it'd be like an artist tent, a blank wall, an artist tent, a blank wall, but alternating, so that then you could also do the traffic in one direction. I know the traffic tends to be kind of an issue at the art festival when there's a lot of people. It's like some people are trying to push a stroller down and other people are walking with their dog, and it's like,
yeah, it's chaos. Yep.
I don't know if that would be, and just, I think that would be something I would maybe recommend looking into further, is how to set it up if it's possible that way. Because the thing about the art festival that as a business makes it more difficult is you're not getting really any exposure if you're a business that's behind tents. And it's really hard to see, and even like it's very chaotic with all the people, so you're not even looking around. So if it were nothing on one side where the businesses are, so then you'd see the businesses, you'd be looking and walking and taking your time in and out. You have more just like physical access to even get to them. And I think that could help, on top of just like helping traffic flow in a time that we're living in.
It may even help with the social distancing aspects that we're going to have to figure out for this festival too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any?
I think the other thing I just wanted to kind of bring to the committee's attention. Can you guys hear me? Okay, sorry, it doesn't look like I was lit up, so I wanted to make sure. Is just that what we did the last 2 years before COVID hit, we did sort of experimental business interaction. And I'm going to pick on Corey because he's here. So we had the businesses host or do like art installations. Do you guys remember this? But like that were fun, right? That kind of drew people into their business. So like Corey decorated the tree directly outside his business, which I think was fun, right? Like
Corey's mom.
Corey's mom, fine, but Corey
Easy.
decorated it. Sorry, the lights go off when I don't live in this office. So that was like something fun. And I remember Sundance like chalk painted jewels along their brick stuff, and Peanut Barrel did like ribbons, and people could be like interactive. So we've done that the last 2 years. I don't know, Heather, if that really makes a big difference to the art festival, but that's something that the DMB has done that's kind of, bridge that gap, right? Made the businesses kind of feel a part of the festival. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know if that's something we also want to explore as we talk about this. We have a little bit more time, but that has been the other thing that we have done historically. So
Yeah. From the art festival standpoint, I think it helps make the footprint of the festival, the site plan, a little bit more exciting. But I don't know how it helps the businesses. I don't have that end of it, the knowledge.
I mean, the art festival was very, very slow for us because people were down there for the art festival. They weren't there for shopping, but it was kind of fun to, with our location, to kind of make it feel like we were a part of it, and because we were kind of around the corner. So it was just kind of something silly and fun that we could do, that we were kind of a part of it, but we weren't a part of it, if you will. So I just know there's a lot of, people wanted to put out art, people wanted to put out, you can't sell this, you can't do that and everything, which makes complete sense. So I think that's what we ran into too, was trying to figure out how we could be a part of it, but not impede on all the stuff that, people that paid for everything.
Right. Yeah.
Also, just like thinking about it, maybe I would assume that because of COVID, there's going to have to be some more formal traffic pattern that you guys are putting together in terms of trying to create a traffic flow in a certain way. Potentially, I don't know how this would look, but like if that was an actual thing, or it was like start the festival in these spots and then follow this kind of path through it. If like where Corey's store was, there's not booths out there, but I would assume that that would have to be utilized or could be utilized in a traffic pattern. So if we included kind of like made a little mini like map for people coming in that showed a traffic pattern, but then also highlighted, it took you through places where businesses were, and then it also highlighted like maybe some businesses on that area where people could stop like shopping, like on this block, food on this block. Well, I don't know. I don't know how you'd have to put that together, but if that was kind of a thing where we're trying to facilitate traffic to include businesses in that kind of traffic pattern, would be.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also thinking about our Downtown East Lansing app, with all of the interactions and like the geocoding. I'm definitely wondering if there's a way that we could, like, to your point, Chanel, like kind of have almost like a draft map, have it be interactive, and maybe even have like, in the past we physically printed like coupons and discounts, but, and I don't want to ask businesses, right, to necessarily give a discount this year, especially, but if there's a promotion or something that they might want us to highlight, we could certainly put that like in our features section of the app and make that kind of interactive. So I'm just kind of spitballing, but I think that.
Yeah, I mean, but that could be like a cool add-on to the
absolutely.
app. If we are having a traffic pattern that we're trying to push, that if it's an interactive map and you log into this app, so everywhere is posted like the QR codes, download this for, and all the parking garages everywhere, download this for your EL Art Fest directions, right? Like how to attend the EL Art Fest or whatever. People scan that, it pulls up on the app like an interactive map that you could click, and you can figure out where the booths are, like have all the booths in it, so that if there are people that are just trying to go to one place, they're not like they know where to go. And then it can also have all the businesses, so like everything could be like interactive to touch on and explain kind of what this booth is, what this booth is, what this restaurant is, what this shopping store is, and kind of make it that way. Might be an interesting, I mean, that sounds kind of like a big task, but
yeah.
I don't know how. I haven't spent a ton of time on the app.
Adam's still here?
I am.
Probably freaking out right now, going, whoa, 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 whoa.
No, it's exactly what the app was built to do. At this point, it'd take about, depending how many vendors you have, I don't know, 20 minutes to do something like that.
Okay.
Just create a basic map that People can scan with a QR code, and it has pass and tells you which vendors are where. Yeah.
But then it also can talk about the businesses too. So it can kind of be like a,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then
I mean, the business directory is already in there, and we can upload the map that, you know, Heather, well, I don't know, I guess I don't want to speak for Heather. In years past, you've had like a printed map that you've also sent to LSJ. Like, do you think you're going to do that again this year? Do you think you're going to do more virtual, or are we like way ahead of ourselves?
I think that we're gonna do an
Okay.
City Pulse insert
Okay.
with the map and the sponsors
Yeah.
and the artist booth, which is what's usually.
Okay.
The other part that we could include in this interactive map, though, that Amy and I talked about, is potentially having the high school art. I don't know what it's called, but the art installation that's happening right now. Right now, it's supposed to go through June, but potentially we could extend it. And we could advertise those businesses that have the art on them too.
yeah.
If you don't mind, I'll share the screen real quick.
No, I think you're co-host, Adam. I think you can do I need to stop share? I'll stop share and then you can do it.
Maybe I'll share. Okay, can you see the pop-up art stuff?
Mm-hmm.
This was just our first kind of experimental story map using, you know, a programming that we recently implemented. And this is for the pop-up arts. We can do a lot more with this, right? This is just all the businesses where the art is. You can click on it, get more information about that business. Right now, we only included the addresses, but we can literally put anything we would like to in there.
Yeah, so you could say like Peanut Barrel, $5 margaritas and burgers for Art Festival weekend, whatever. And then it can say stores this, and then it can have all the booths on it. And
Absolutely.
it can describe what each booth is.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do any of that. We have all the information for the businesses. It's already downloaded here. Are you seeing the map, the interactive map here?
Yeah.
Is it
Yes.
purple? Okay. And then the features section right here. Oh man, this is an old version. Wonder how that happened. Anyway, here we go. There's a feature section which I'd like to move towards a page just dedicated to featuring downtown businesses. Right now it's just on the homepage. We have 3, but the geo forms that we were talking about will allow a business to submit you know, some photos or video and a little narrative to us, and we can directly link it into this app to feature them, whether it's a monthly, bi-weekly basis, whatever. So I encourage you to check it out and just kind of get an understanding of the capabilities we're working with here, because, you know, it has a lot of potential. Here's a TikTok challenge we recently implemented, Amy and her team. Got TikTok embedded directly into the app, right? So the video's here. Everyone can just see it, how to submit, who the project team is, all that stuff. And if you guys can see the Downtown East Lansing logo, we're going to be pushing that really, really hard. Trying to really brand downtown. And every time someone sees that logo, they associate it with the Downtown East Lansing. So it's all over the place. That's only going to increase.
Well, great. I think that would be those are 2 things that I would think might help. So I don't know if anybody else has anything about the art festival. We're going to discuss this, I'm assuming, at the full board, correct?
That's correct. So since the ask is more than $500 and the committee can only approve $500, we will take this for the full board for consideration. And if the committee is supportive, you know, I can add that to the agenda for Tuesday, because we have a quick turnaround this month for the next board meeting. So I can add Heather's letter and we could, you know, discuss it more then. That works for everybody. And no shock, Heather, we came up with like 10 ideas for you. So you're welcome. And we'll take it from there.
Well, I did say I want to collaborate, so that's right.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Heather. All right. Okay, so I will then, add Heather's sponsorship level letter to the next board packet, and we can chat about it then. And I think in the interim, we can probably move on. So the next thing I wanted to just kind of chat with you guys about is I know that it's January. We're now kind of thinking through the end of the fiscal year. I know I kind of advised you on, we have about $6,000. What do we think is worthwhile with that money? It's not a ton of money, but it's certainly something, especially when we're only talking about kind of 5 months left in the life of COVID. So I know that several of you are kind of used to this document, but I wanted to kind of bring it to our attention. I think my intent is to try to bring it to every meeting from this point forward. So this is basically fiscal year 21. So again, we went from July 1 through June 30th. That is our fiscal year. This kind of talks about all the accomplishments and what we sort of did the first 6 months. Lots of activities basically since October on, virtual events, things of that nature. And so now we're kind of into, February is right around the corner. So a couple of things that I know Adam had mentioned and we wanted to point out. So obviously the PLACE project is underway. We're trying to get to that $50,000 mark. We're feeling good that we're going to get there. Things that we've already launched are like the art installation stuff. I know I talked to you about that at the last board meeting. We did just launch on Monday a TikTok dance challenge. So I want to see y'all like get your groove on and dance downtown. We're trying to solicit some council members to kind of do some fun things, win a downtown East Lansing gift card. I don't know if you guys recall, but in a couple, like last year, what we would do is sometimes we pick a time period and maybe ask the businesses to like send us their promotions or specials or anything that they might be interested in kind of sharing. And then we would promote them on social. Does that make sense? So they basically fill out like a Survey Monkey, say, these are my promotions I want you to do. If maybe it's a BOGO, maybe it's, I don't know, a Valentine's Day special, something of that nature. I know Valentine's Day is kind of around the corner, but I wondered if that might be something you might be interested in having. Gabby and Marissa and I work on is maybe trying to gather some stuff. I also recognize Valentine's Day looks real different this year. I know that restaurants will be open, but have limited capacity. But if there's something you'd kind of like us to highlight, certainly that's something we can talk about. St. Patrick's Day is in March, obviously. So, how much do we promote that? I know St. Patrick's Day in years past looks really different. Do we promote that? Do we just talk about safe practices? Do we not say anything because we know people are going to come back? Hopefully anyway. Also spring break were some concepts that we talked about. So like MSU's spring break is generally scheduled for March. East Lansing Public Schools spring break is for April. Do we maybe try to work with the businesses and try to encourage them to come up with something like spring break from home, right? These are just some concepts that staff came up with. And what does that look like? Is it a BOGO? Is it a promotion? Do they host something safe with social distancing? In terms of community events, here's what I know. So Heather obviously just gave us the update on the art festival. So that's going to move to August. The Summer Solstice Jazz Festival is either going to be virtual in June or they're going to push it forward like they did the Jazz Festival. There's not a final decision on that. The other thing that I know a lot of people are wondering about is the summer concert series that, we generally kind of underwrite and have during the summer where we have musicians out on Friday evenings. At this point, they're really evaluating their COVID options. And I think at this point, it's safe to say, if that happens, the earliest it would happen is July. But I'm going to say that I think that there's a lot of concerns from like a COVID perspective. So I wouldn't be shocked if Parks and Recreation starts to think about maybe, there's even, I'll tell you, like maybe even like a creative drive-through movie where it's not necessarily downtown, but maybe it's up at like the Hannah Community Center or it's up at the Aquatic Center, but something like that where people could still kind of stay a little more socially distant. So those are, I just kind of wanted to give you a snapshot of what I know about community events, kind of get your feedback on, what would we like to promote, if anything. I think that probably the big thing that we kind of put as a recommendation in here just to kind of move us along was really a consideration of like social media buys. So I think the discussion was if you guys wanted to do something, if you wanted to reach out to businesses and say, hey, tell us about your promotions. Maybe you approve now and say to us, hey, team or staff, try to get people's promotions for February and March. We'll spend $200, $300, whatever you want that to be. We generate that and try to get some social media ads developed by a graphic designer and go. Or maybe you guys think that that's not a good use of funds right now, especially during COVID. And, we're really trying to promote the PLACE project and let's just leave it alone. So I don't have my job is to present you guys with some concepts, some ideas. And so it's kind of really whatever you guys think at this point. So I'll go back to this item. So what questions do people have? It's okay if you guys think that these are stupid ideas. Like, let us, what are you guys thinking?
Well, I don't know. It's such a hard, events are such a hard thing to figure out right now and like the best way to do them. And fortunately about virtual events for us, with the way our budget is, virtual events don't cost us that much outside of social media buys, considering we don't have a lot of money. But I don't know. I think I would be more apt, even, I guess, like, I like how we're doing the art exhibits, like doing things that are, hold on, my computer's gonna die. Doing things that are, I don't want to say like event-based in person, but things that people can go see or experience rather than just virtual. I think a lot of people, like for a long time, Zoom happy hours were like really popular, and friends were doing, because that was like fun and new and like, let's do these things on Zoom. Whereas now I feel like a lot of people might be a little bit burnt out with that. So like people, especially spring's coming, things like that, doing things to go see something outside, even if it's not like on a large scale event, but like having things to go take your kids to go see or do or experience in a non-group setting, I think over like social media type things is where I would rather like try and come up with more things like that, I don't know.
So more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, I'm just gonna throw this out there. So like maybe in support of the Place project, when the underground market opens, maybe we approve some funds to promote that. Is that kind of what we're talking about?
Yeah, which then in turn can drive, because I understand the idea and I understand the safety and I understand all of that stuff behind doing virtual type things, but it doesn't really actually drive any business to our businesses. And if we're able to drive people downtown in a non-1 hour time frame for this event, but like we're doing this in February for Valentine's Day, come check it out downtown East Lansing, whatever. I mean, I'd have to think about more stuff, but like the farmers market, doing advertising to that type of thing, which can drive people downtown, give them something to do, because winter is long especially if you're like have kids, winter is long with kids with nothing to do in a COVID time, when you don't leave your house for whatever, things like that. It's giving people a way to get out of and I'm sure even if you don't have kids, you're probably like getting real stir crazy at this point. So advertising types of things that people can go do and bring them into our downtown is, I think, a way better use of our funds than like spending social media dollars advertising virtual type things that people aren't getting that excited about.
I think an aquatic center drive-in or something like that would be awesome.
Yeah. Like doing some, even if it's staying in your car, like it's like, let's go. Like I know people that went to, in the fall around Halloween, they went to like a drive-in concert and they like stayed in their car and they played the music on the radio and they're in their car with their friends, but they were like, it's something like we're not sitting on our couch. We're going and we're not interacting with anybody, but it feels like we are, that type of thing.
Adam, did you have something?
Yeah, I just want to add, build on this conversation. So as part of the Place project, and I'm not sure if it's clear to everybody, but there's monies dedicated to marketing these activities, the Place project, the farmers market. There's money to market the activities that we haven't even come up with yet. There's money for programming that we haven't designed yet because we've gone really heavy, and I feel like we're set for a few months. We're going to continue to design during that time. But I say all that because the place project really comes down to partnerships and, you know, Arts Commission, DDA, DMB, the city. We can't be successful without DMB. And so we thought ahead about that. And those monies are to help the DMB help the place project, if that makes sense, to help us market these activities. If you have programming ideas in mind, to bring them to the table so that we can design the programs that you guys think are going to help the businesses. So those monies are there. So just keep that in mind as you guys are talking through that.
Yeah. So like, I know what we typically do and how we typically do things, but like, even if we just like abandon things that we've done in the past and not try and make them virtual, and if it doesn't work the way that it used to work in a normal environment, maybe try and come up with an entirely different idea for now. And it may stick and in future years kind of evolve into something you can do in person or on it. Like if we did like some sort of drive-in event that someday could be in person, not drive-in.
Yeah, I agree.
To kind of, it may be like just an overhaul of our events that we have done in the past. And kind of
absolutely. Yeah, it'll be a lot of trial and error. And like you said, some things will stick, some will not. But yeah, and then also in the summer, springtime, we'll be doing pop-up parklets. And the idea is to have some kind of activity, maybe vendors, in the vicinity of that pop-up parklet to help further activate that space. So just want to point that out.
So I don't know where that leads us on our exact list.
No, this is why this is why we kind of have these frank discussions at subcommittee level, right? Before we take anything to the board. So first of all, Em, thanks for the updates. And I think that's fine. I mean, basically what I heard from the last board meeting was kind of figure out, what we've done and kind of bring this to you guys. So yeah. I'm fine if the decision is, and I think that I want to hear from all of you, but I think I'm kind of hearing, hey, if summer concert series doesn't happen, but we can partner with Parks and Rec and we can figure out a way to do something bigger, like a drive-in movie, but it's safe and COVID safe. We'd maybe rather spend our last $5,000-6,000 on that sort of initiative and supporting the place project initiatives than like social media ads. Is that fair? Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know what other people think. Like Corey or
yeah,
Sarah, I know you're new
sure,
here.
I would agree with that. Just as long as we're doing some sort of promoting of downtown business.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like to stop like highlighting business specials on social media, but more or less like, I know like photo contests are fun or things like that we've done in the past, but that doesn't really translate, I don't think. And I think with it gonna get warm again, hopefully in the next 3 months, if we could plan some fun stuff for the spring that are kind of exciting and give the community something to look forward to. And that like also like the kids, like in East Lansing, I know there's a big debate about kids going back to school. But our kids in East Lansing haven't been to school in a year, or getting out of the house and doing those things, I think is really important for our community to kind of continue to grow and be a healthy space that
I think there's a lot of hunger in the area for people getting out. I think you're completely right on that, Chanel.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, so for February, for example, like definitely want to advertise the farmers market and see what we could do if there's ways to like make that cool. Like, I'm sure it's already gonna be cool. I don't mean make it cool, but like make it kind of stand out. And is the farmers market, is there a time? What, I don't have it memorized. What are
yeah, my understanding is it opens Valentine's Day, that Sunday. February. So there's something fun we could do with that, I would think, from an app.
Yeah, so like to do something fun like that.
And then highlight the dates that we know it's going to be open.
Yeah, how long is that thinking of going? Indefinitely?
I don't know if I could speak to indefinitely. a couple months was my understanding, but let me get you some for sure dates. Yeah.
so that we could like plan something like, what if we did, you know, like even some like walk around downtown after the farmer's market, like get your coffee from Blue Owl or whatever and do this like walking tour. Well, you know, I don't even know, like I need more time to like think of things, but even something to make it seem
do a
like
QR code scavenger hunt or something like
Yeah.
that.
like
So-
after the farmers market, go to the farmers market and do this with your kids afterward in downtown East Lansing, and don't forget to stop and get a coffee and then get lunch and go, you know, just like give people things, because we live in Michigan, but where we live in Michigan isn't the most exciting outdoors space, so people don't have a lot to go do on the weekends with their families in that way. So like if we give someone a walk to go do, or I don't know, maybe people will do it, maybe they won't, I don't know, but just like tie into the farmers market to make it more of like a full event.
I don't know if this is possible, but what about QR codes that could only be scanned at the farmer's market for deals at these, like if you scan something at the farmer's market and you got 20% off Blue Owl or Foster, or you know, $10 off
You
it.
could do something like that, like at the booths, like that.
You can pick up a coupon or something
The
like that.
vendors,
No,
no,
the
the
coupon
vendors,
sheet.
we could give all of the vendors though a QR code, literally, that, because I'm certain that Blue Owl has some, or like any of the restaurants, or maybe I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Like even with the gift card program, I don't know, something.
Yeah,
Could
Yeah,
so
just
give somebody a reason they have to go get something
Like that, if they had something after the purchase that the vendors gave out to the people that purchased there that said, go do this now. With
Mhm.
this discount.
Yeah, I think the map idea we were talking about with the art festival, we could kind of test it out for both of these spring break ideas. Like you scan the QR code, it directs you to the next one. I think that's definitely something we should try out. Yeah, we talked about kind of a passport idea for Halloween, but I think that could easily be for spring break. Like you get a stamp and then you're entered into something, or, you know, there's a next step. But I definitely feel like people need something to do to channel energy, to channel, I don't know, traffic. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, or put together, like, even if it's something, I don't know, take a photo at the farmer's market and tag us, or, you know, with this or that or something like that. You know, I think promotion through social media, if we don't do the promoting, if we can get other people to do the promoting for us, is better spent than.
Way more effective. It's free.
Like take a photo, use this hashtag.
You give
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
That
The only thing we found with that is, if you guys remember, it's the security settings. So we just have to hope that people will,
You just have to say your post has to be public.
yeah.
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 That just is in the rules. Like your post has to be public, and if it's not public, it doesn't apply.
Yeah, 'cause it's on them, really.
Yeah, if they don't want to do that, then
They don't have to.
yeah.
And you can change, it doesn't mean your whole profile has to be a certain way. You could just change the settings of what that individual post.
Right.
Right. Okay, so
Did you say something a second ago? You cut out. I
Um,
think. Yeah, did you say something? No.
No.
So yeah, I would try, let's see if we can come up with something for Valentine's Day launch of the farmer's market, and then kind of make some cool thing to build on it.
Yeah, I would even maybe play off that spring break local kind of thing and do like a local, you know, treasure hunt or scavenger hunt, or I don't know, visit these places or something off of that.
At the farmer's market, can we advertise the downtown East Lansing gift cards?
I don't see why not. In fact, I know that Carla, the festival coordinator, she hasn't activated yet, but she sent me, she's basically trying to make it so that she can accept the downtown East Lansing gift card as payment. So I don't think they've quite finalized that yet, but does that make sense to everybody? So like, right, the vendors can accept the gift card. Yeah.
But also just advertise
Info booth can do
down
that.
there that we have that
Uh-huh.
as an option, just as another way to get people to see it. So that's, yeah. I don't know. And maybe if we did like in March, some sort of, I mean, like have these scavenger hunts after the farmers markets be like tailored towards like the one in February kind of tailored towards Valentine's Day. But if we did one in March after it, that's kind of tailored towards like, go find this pot of gold, and then you get this or something, like, I don't know. We can kind of come up with what we could do for that, but kind of make it fun that people would like go see, and like have it be like secret, like, facts about East Lansing. Go to the building that I don't know any facts, but like go to the building that was this, like, wasn't the AT&T building something really old? I don't know. Stuff like that. Like find this building and have people figure it out and like make it kind of an event. And then at the end they can find.
They can win a downtown East Lansing gift card, right?
Yeah.
So huge value. Yeah. Okay. So
No,
definitely going to do like a scavenger hunt kind of concept for March, and we can sort of work through the details of that. And for
We did that before for whatever it was when I don't remember what event it was, but I had people coming and counting bow ties or something like that. But
I think it's fun to kind of do it like history based in East Lansing, like to learn about the businesses. It could be even history based, like go to the restaurant that was founded 50 years ago, like this, the original like location of this or something. I don't know, cool stuff to teach about the businesses too.
I agree.
Yeah, like Dublin was the first post office. Like even not like what used to be Lizards or what used to be Dooley's.
Yeah, stuff like that, or like the first, this of this kind or something like that. And it kind of, you learn about the business, like you'll know that Dublin's there, you learn about it, they can offer facts about something about that Dublin has, but it's also like a cool history thing that people might be interested to learn about downtown East Lansing and kind of create that emotional connection.
Yeah, and we have some of that because former board member Tom Muth, do you remember this? He worked on a tour, and he had some historical facts about the businesses on that. So I could grab some of that, and hopefully we could go through it and look through that.
And I bet we could get some cool pictures, like, and stuff that people could see, because people love that stuff. That stuff's so interesting.
Yeah.
And so when they go to this spot on the app, it'll show the cool, like old, what it used to look like type thing. I don't know. Might be a big project, but I think it could be something really cool.
Well, the photo idea is a good idea, especially as somebody that's hunted a lot of those down for various projects. Like, it's really crazy to see. Like, the outside of Landshark used to be like all brick, and it was called Candle of the Cove. And it just like, how did you get from point A to point B, right? Like, across the street from me was a movie theater for like 50 years, Like,
yeah. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would think that was cool to be able to go on this like historical tour of East Lansing. Like, they might go actually to do that because it would provide value.
Did any of you happen to do the Sparrow Road Rally back in October? So that was the whole idea, was that you got these clues that were all cartoon based, and it was a riddle. You had to figure it out to figure out which business you were going to next. But if we were doing this on a regular basis, we could kind of obviously do thematic ones. So maybe one is all photos, and another one is history, and another one is riddles relating to something. I think it could be a lot of fun, and for families, it would give them a reason to continually come back and experience it in a different way.
I like that. We could try to do it like every 2 months or something, right? Try to roll one out.
Yeah.
Might be something kind of fun.
And then it's not like everybody has to do it on this one day. It's like go to these farmers markets for the month of March and then do this scavenger hunt afterward or something.
Right.
Or do it whenever you want. But
okay. So Gabby and I can definitely start working through like a scavenger hunt concept, what that would look like. I mean, if we're going to do photos and like, I guess we're going to do it like, well, for lack of a better word, you know what I mean? Like more deep.
It's going to take
March. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time. But for Valentine's Day stuff, I mean, we can certainly promote the market and, promote the e-gift card program. And
are we going to have a second TikTok challenge too?
We would launch it, yes, right around there. So do we think that that's okay for like in the next 2 weeks?
I do.
Do that with the market. Okay. So we'll work on the cool TikTok video. And we'll try to promote the e-gift card program as much as possible at the market. And then for March, we'll try it like end of March. So at our next meeting, we'll kind of come with you to you guys with like all these concepts, all these clues. What do you guys like? What don't you? You know.
And Gabby, I'm pretty sure that if you reached out to some of the businesses, they have a lot of that type of stuff. Like I have a ton of, well, not a ton, some pictures of like what Julie's looked like or things like, I'm sure that the businesses have some of that stuff.
LSJ has a lot too.
Yeah, LSJ probably has tons too. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the MSU archives.
I'm sure Ray could probably help with some too.
Yeah, right. Ray has a lot. You just have to dig through his van if you want to do.
Fan. I think he's got two, doesn't he?
But I also would like to consider some sort of, with the Parks and Rec, if they're looking at something like that, some like large scale, cool drive-in,
Yeah.
whether it's a movie
Didn't
or.
we do movies at Valley Court at one point?
We did. And we did them Parks and Rec did it, and we would sometimes financially support it, but they would always be at Valley Court. And I think some of the concept this year is people are probably going to feel safer in their cars. So is that the Handy Community Center? And actually, to your point, Corey, a lot of the discussion has been, would it be like up at the Aquatic Center? And even that, though that's not the core downtown, when I had a discussion with Parks and Rec folks this week, I said to them, well, maybe we could tie it all in, right? And try to have like a coupon page or something like that downloadable so that if the DMV sponsored it and provided it, right, we're still trying to like bring that direct link. Because I personally, right, I have a 3-year-old, but like if I could find something that's G-rated and, drive her up there, like I would go get takeout, right? And then maybe run into a shop and then, drive up there and hopefully have dinner and leave, right? That kind of concept is what I would think we'd go for.
Yeah. I hate to, I don't know, do it one way or the other. I hate to ask people to give discounts because I felt like every time I open the door or answer the phone, everybody's looking for a discount.
Want
But,
something.
if you show
Right.
your receipt that you got takeout from someplace downtown, you got $1 off your ticket to the movie theater or something like that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, like the exact inverse of it. Whatever you spent, you get a certain portion off
So,
your
you
ticket.
get
or-
a takeout from Harper's and you show your receipt and they're going to give you $1 off your movie ticket or $2 or whatever you determine it to be, so that people will, be encouraged to get food or takeout or something downtown at the stores or businesses or whatever. And, or if you purchase something on the day of the movie, at Retro Duck, then you're going to get $2 off your ticket, or if you, whatever, however you want to do it.
I'll go as far as to say is make the movie free and completely incentivize people to do that. Like say it's either like a ticket or it's just free.
Yeah.
The movie is very cost prohibitive. I remember signing off on a couple for Parks and Rec, and it's actually pretty cheap.
Yeah. So, get takeout from downtown East Lansing and get a free movie.
Or really just like spend any money that day.
Yeah, exactly. Show a receipt that you bought a book at Ray's or, or Curious, or, you've done whatever you've done downtown East Lansing in this obviously area, and,
And get a movie to pass or whatever. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, you could even do half off if you wanted to try and generate some sort of income. If it was
Right.
depending on cost, but if you say it's pretty cheap, Luke, then
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that idea.
$100 at most. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I would, encourage people to say, okay, I got to get something downtown, and then they're getting, something for it. So,
That sounds like that'd be a thing to ask money for somebody to sponsor that movie too, if you don't want to pay for the movie at all, I'd probably sponsor that,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or even if it was like, if we were able to figure it out and like concerts in your car radio that were like, if we did the summer concert series through, because the girl I know, she went to like a venue for it, but you wouldn't necessarily have to do that. Like if we did something to make it feel like, things like that people are going to do, like if we did a radio concert too, that would be.
So you're put up a screen or something.
So the thing that this girl I know went to is in Detroit. They actually had people performing on a stage, but not everybody could obviously see that because they're all in cars throughout the parking lot. But then their music was live streamed through a radio station into people's cars. So some people could obviously see and hear it and probably were sitting on the roof of their car, like listening to it. And then other people in the back were like listening to it in the car too. I don't know.
I mean, similar, but they were literally watching a screen. Like, I think they went to the drive-in in West Michigan, I think Getty 4, and they watched a concert that way. Like, it was just a live stream of a national, like, I think there was like 50 drive-ins in America doing it. And it's like, you could do something really practical with that even here, I'm sure. Like, I mean, Star Farm's been doing like live shows on Facebook that have been getting like several, tens of thousands of watches, like live, and maybe you could do something like that even. Like,
yeah. Like if this became something that we could do more than once, and like one is a movie for families, because like not every, to kind of hit different markets of our demographic, and then you do one that's a concert, and the people could actually be playing, and there could be screens up too. Like you could do it multiple ways, however it works. I mean, I just think it's something to go do, and then you get discounted. I think that's a great way to do it, is if you shop in downtown East Lansing that day, you get a discounted ticket. I think it would have to be more than $1 off, because
Yeah, I mean, obviously make it worthwhile.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the cost associated with that would be even for us.
I think it's $27 to go to a movie right now anyway, so.
Yeah.
So what I know from Parks and Rec is this. I know that usually like the movie itself, like Luke had mentioned, I think like the movie rights are like $500 or not, not too much. But what they were going to look into was, or what they were talking about was like the FM station. I think like what Chanel was talking about, where people could like have the sound go through I have no idea the price point of that. And so they were going to do a little digging on that to see what that would be. So that, right, like if I am sitting in my car and, I don't know, Pocahontas is on, or right, that's like what we choose, that then kid can still hear it really well. Some could roll down video, right, movies and Windows, but I think that's what we got. That's like what I think we gotta figure out is, what does that cost? What does that look like?
seems like if you could do this event for under $1,000, I would gun for free. I mean, even maybe $2,000, but yeah.
Yeah. So we'll look at, okay. All right. We will work with Parks and Rec. Okay, guys. So I know I've kept you. I know we usually keep these to an hour or so. I don't know if you want to plow ahead for this last item quickly, or if you would like to discuss it perhaps at the board meeting. You just want me to plow ahead because I talk. What am I looking at? Ms. Chair.
Thought I was unmuted. I think it'll be fine. Just go, unless people want to get off. I don't care. It's gonna.
I'm fine.
Okay. All right. I'll plow ahead quickly. Okay. So yard signs. As you guys recall, in December, we made an expenditure and we purchased 120 support your local businesses yard signs. And we did this really as an emblematic presence in the downtown. And we were curious to see how many residents would put these out. Would people like them? Would there be a strong show of support? And to date, actually, I've had some more requests since I actually even drafted this letter with Marissa. So we've given out about 90 of 120 of them. We partnered with the Council of Neighborhood Residents, and I made a presentation with them. There's just been a lot of interest. I don't know if we are interested. What we had talked about was if it did go well, if we were interested in maybe now seeing if there's a fundraising element to that. So they're not inexpensive. So like for 120 signs, they're $998.40. So that's a total cost of about $839 per sign for the DMV. If we were interested in doing something, we could certainly discuss with the board purchasing the yard signs. I don't know what a good price point is, right? We were kind of thinking maybe $15 to $20 per sign. 20 might be too much, but to at least make a little bit of revenue, right? And then put that revenue towards, perhaps the Downtown East Lansing gift card program, or maybe you guys think that the funds would be better used elsewhere. But I know that this subcommittee had just requested kind of talking a little bit about it. So I really wanted to give you an update on where we're at, that there has been interest, that we've given away about 90 of them, and to see if you think that we should even consider a fundraising element, or just kind of let it go and say, hey, this was a success, people put them out, good show of support, good project. Up to you guys. And as a reminder, these are what the signs look like. So there's like a teal and a green and a purple.
So I think I would just do it. And if we could sell them at the farmer's market, I think people.
And that's been the discussion, was that we could try to set that up. Because I talked to Adam briefly about it, and he said, yeah, you know, we can certainly try to explore that. So if that's something you guys would like to pursue, I think initially we could try to sell them at the farmer's market. And then obviously when municipal buildings do start to kind of open up more, you know, we can chat about selling them more there too. So I'm seeing some support, so we could just put this on the board agenda for discussion on Tuesday and consideration of approval. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go to $20, but I mean, the way I would do it probably is you set a price, but you don't make that a firm price.
Like a donation based.
Based.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen that done.
That's what I would do. I would do like a $15 suggested donation
And see what happens.
and just see what happens.
Uh-huh.
Good idea.
What do we think about, where would we want the funds to go? Would we just make it general and say that support downtown activities, or would we say just to support downtown activities?
I would just say it goes to support the downtown businesses, and then we take that money and use it discretionally based upon the needs of the time. If we need to put it towards the IFTI program, we will. If we don't, when we need to put it towards a drive-in movie, then whatever. I would just say all the donations go towards supporting downtown businesses.
Okay.
But I wouldn't make it a suggested donation.
Okay.
Because oftentimes somebody would be like 15, they don't have it. They're not going to sit and wait for change. They'll hand you $20. But if you say it's $20, they might not, you know, it reinforces that this is a donation that you're giving versus a purchase.
And conversely, somebody will hand you like $50.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you say it's only $15, nobody's going to hand you $50.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea. We could even like set up, if there's weeks where it's not happening, like, are there still mask ambassadors downtown?
Nope.
I
Sorry.
haven't been down there recently.
Yeah, they ended in November because it was getting pretty cold. So
I mean, like if that starts up again for some reason, I don't know what that is, but if that starts up again, couldn't they also take payment too and do those? Probably.
I can certainly talk to finance about it. The finance division has some pretty strong policies about who can accept money and who can't from a city perspective, but we can certainly try to make it work. And the other advantage that we have is we have the square. Do you guys remember this? We invested in the square before our last event. So if people didn't have cash, you know, as long as finance is on board, so I'll use the caveat of as long as finance is on board, we could accept, you know, somebody could just do a debit card contribution, then that'll just go directly into our account. We pay a little bit of processing on that, but it's not, you know, not even to the extent of like a credit card normal percentage. Yeah.
So that's the other way I would look at if we start doing some sort of ambassadors downtown in the warm weather. Another way to put those out there.
Okay. Okay. Then we will add this to the agenda for Tuesday. So that is everything that I had on the agenda to discuss, unless there's anything else anybody would like to talk about for the good of the order.
Anybody have anything else they want to say? No? Okay. A motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
All right, I will do a roll call vote. Crouch,
Yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Frank Hepfer.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. Thank you, everybody. I know it was a long Friday afternoon meeting, but I think we got a lot done. We came up with some good ideas.
Thanks for
You on the full board. I will see you Tuesday at 2:00, so you can expect to get another link to a board packet from me. And
Thanks, Luke, for coming.
Yeah,
Thanks for
Luke,
coming.
you're still on my radar, buddy. I still need to call you, so I haven't forgot about you.
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks again, Chanel. I cannot imagine doing what you're doing right now during a pandemic. I'm really glad I don't have that job anymore. You're doing awesome.
Oh, thanks. We're just trying to figure it out. It's like such a tough thing to advertise, like to walk the line of trying to figure out what's appropriate and what's not.
Oh yeah, because of everything we did during my tenure, and it's like, wow, we couldn't have done like any of it. So yeah.
So trying to figure it out and the best way to serve the businesses. So
We'll keep it up. You're awesome.
if you ever have any ideas, let us know.
Yeah, I'll start trying to come to these regularly too if I'm welcome. So
Perfect. If you want to be a voting member, you're added to the roster. You just think about it.
we'll think about it.
Think about it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Safe weekend. Bye-bye.